It's engaging. It's Chattin' with Chelsea. She's daytime's new bestie. Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards. Come back to me.
Welcome to another episode of Chat with Chelsea. I'm your daytime bestie, Chelsea Edwards. Ooh, today is going to be good. We have some ways to help protect your hair in the summer heat. Plus, we've got some styling ideas so you can get out of the house quicker and get onto somebody's patio for brunch, all right? We got you covered for the summer hair. But first, I have got to introduce you to this boss lady. Joni Odum is the CEO of Firstline brands. Now, if you use tools to style or protect your hair, you probably got some of her things in your nightstand or in your bathroom. We're talking wave caps, brushes, bonnets. You know, speaking of bonnets, why is it that they always end up in random places? She gets me.
Real quick, I don't know about you all, but every morning like clockwork, I have to send a search and rescue team to find my bonnet. And I'm sick and tired. Okay, I'm turning over pillows. I'm on my bad knees looking under bed. When I put you on my head, that's where you're supposed to be. One time I woke up in the middle of the night, you downstairs on the couch chilling, watching TV. What's that about? You're supposed to be on my head. Now, I don't know if you and my cat are in some kind of cahoots together working against me, but you have one job, to be on my head and protect my hairstyle. Do you work third shift at UPS or something? I'm so confused right now. Like, do you put on your little robe and your little slippers and just wander off? You're supposed to be on my head. I'm sick of the disrespect. I'm sick and I'm tired. There's no reason to be making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when you're supposed to be on my head, bonnet.
Okay, yes. So, it hits home.
It hits home. It's a real thing. The traveling bonnet does happen.
Exactly. I think part of the reason mine ends up all over the place is I'll be out the house and then I'll just put it in the car somewhere and then find it later.
And find it later. As long as it's not like when you put it on in your bed and then it's not there when you wake up. That's when it's a real problem.
That's when it has a third job.
That's when it has a third job that you didn't know about. So
yes. Welcome to Chat with Chelsea, Joni Odum.
Thank you so much, Chelsea, for having me. This is a real honor.
It is so fantastic because we've been wanting to chat with you for a while.
Yes,
you're a busy woman because you're a boss woman, so we get it. We get it. But I mean, your products, most of us have been using them for years and years.
Yes.
The company Firstline, so you have Evolve and other brands underneath that.
Yes.
Y'all are going on 40 years.
We are going on 40 entire years.
Wow.
Yeah, we will celebrate our 40th next August. So we are almost there and we're in a celebratory mode. Like for the next 12 to 18 months, you will see us in the street partying, dancing, happily.
Hey.
Yeah, but it's a moment for us. It's a real moment because it's been such a journey getting here.
I love it. You got to invite me to dancing in the street.
Please
come. You see how I do.
Please come. Please be there for this. It will be a real celebration. Yes. I know we had our Road to 40 empowerment brunch just earlier this year, and it really was it was first of all, it was mind-blowing that we had so many people from our community coming to celebrate this moment with us, and we had so many great beauty professionals from the industry that were there to impart just tips, like life skills. And we had our ambassador, LaToya Luckett, there. So I just left there just so overwhelmed because of just how many years we've been serving the textured hair care market, and here we are.
Yes.
We've really come so far, but so far still to go.
Oh, well, I mean, y'all are doing fantastic. So many of us grew up with your products, and you grew up with this company.
Yes,
I mean, you saw it from the ground up. It wasn't just, okay, your dad established this and you came in and swooped in, but you actually were there working behind the scenes and all that.
Yeah, so it's crazy because my dad, just to rewind 40 years ago almost, my dad was a real pioneer in this beauty space because 39 years ago, the textured hair care consumer did not have the tools they needed to satisfy their day-to-day hair care regimen. They didn't have all the tools they needed. And so he developed, it was a real underserved market, and so he developed a couple of basic items, and he gained distribution to start with customers like Sally and Walgreens. And at that time, it's when we became the first Black-owned hair accessories company in the country with national distribution.
Wow.
So it's a real story, and to your point, I was still young at this time, so I did work summers in the warehouse.
How was that?
It was fun. It was fun. My dad, he was harder on me than anybody.
Oh, of
He was harder
course.
on me than anybody. You know, the hard work ethic that he instilled, my mom and dad instilled in me and my sister, started in those years. And so I would be in our manufacturing facilities packing and folding do-rags and wrap caps. But because they instilled so many values, like they had, you know, it was an entrepreneurial spirit, you know, in my house, but it was also, there were also values they instilled, like empowering me to be my authentic self and follow my own path of what I wanted to do and what I was passionate about. And so I ended up deciding that this wasn't my path. And my path is to, you know, go to college and then be in the field of finance.
But you came back around.
But I came back around.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're
Sure.
going to talk about how you came back around.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
We'll be right back after this.
Come back to me.
Joni Odum, CEO of Firstline Brands, is here giving us a chat. Okay, so you were raised in Houston, Texas.
Yes, I was raised in Houston.
Okay,
yes.
but at some point you were like, I'm not taking over this company.
Right.
I'm going to go off and do my own thing. But you came back.
But I came back. I went away to school, worked for global brands, out, you know, in global strategic marketing and marketing finance. But then I was inspired to come back at that point to work with my dad.
Okay.
Yep.
So after you became CEO, or no, let's rewind a little bit before that. Before you became CEO, were there things that you did to bring innovation to the company, especially being a woman?
Yes.
Like there had to be, because you know how these edges are and everything else.
I know how these edges are. It was an agenda. Yes, it was. No, exactly. It was exactly that. My father, he saw a unique opportunity to put me in a place where I would lead the innovation efforts for the company, so that we wouldn't just have the basic items that we had and that this customer needed, but we would have a few things they didn't even know they needed. So it was a focus of understanding the customer. We know this customer because we are this customer, and so it was really being very intentional about the research and study of, like, what are the hot trends today, because we have to be really futuristic and fashion forward in terms of, okay, if this is what's hot today, where might the trends go tomorrow? Like, where will they be next year when this would land on the shelf? And so it was really about really thinking futuristically. It was about projecting, you know, what the needs would be, and it was about creating something to find solutions, to fill gaps that our consumer had, so that we make their lives easier, happier, fun, pretty, all these things.
That's what we go for.
That's what we go for. So that was the agenda, and so because, as a result of that, we, and me helping to kind of make innovation a fabric of who we are, it was also building our brand. So that's when I started to evolve with the team and develop. Wave Enforcer is our oldest brand, so we really started expanding Wave Enforcer, developing Cameron's BFF, Dry Sweat, Sleek. These are all the brands that fall into our portfolio, but that really helped with really putting us on the map and also expanding the channels of our distribution where we would land on shelves.
What was the process of maybe coming up with an idea or seeing a need for something like the edge brush? Like that was huge.
That was huge.
You know, we needed that. I don't know if you also came up with, like, tying the bonnet down, because that's one of the things we needed.
That was definitely one of the first things, like one of the first few items and collections that I know that that I brought to the company would be the items like the satin wrap scarf. Like there was for years people, you know, people wore the do-rags, and so it was that was one of the first unique ideas, was we need a satin scarf that has the same features and design of a do-rag. It's simple. It's a simple difference. It's using satin rather than like a nylon tricot, something that can help and not draw moisture from your hair while you sleep.
Yes.
Having that satin scarf was really one of the first items I can remember over 20 years ago developing, and so obviously you see them all over on shelf.
Yes.
But then that expanded into determining, okay, you know, now we're in a season where bonnets, you know, people are wearing more hair. This was about now 12 to 15 years ago, and I remember being in the middle of a brainstorming session and saying, I know exactly what we need to do with this bonnet. The bonnet has to be unique and different. It has to protect the edges. And so because I was a lover of our Dry Sweat edge band, that's on the market today, different brand, but I was drawing inspiration from the use of that product and saying, we need to take elements of that and give the bonnet some of these features that would also help maintain and smooth edges while you sleep. After several iterations, we had it. We had exactly what we would need. We tested it, and this was it. And now you see that bonnet in so many different formulas and colors and flavors.
We love it.
Everywhere, and I love it too. I love it too. So we've expanded beyond that, of course, and the edge brush would be next, because I felt like it should be an edge collection that we're developing. It shouldn't just end with the bonnet. We should take some of these, because edges are like this, so important. They cater to like they frame your face. They frame your face.
Yes,
so you have to cater to those, and they're delicate. So definitely had to take some of that and give it to a brush and create that edge. And that's a whole story too.
I mean,
that's a whole story too. The inspiration.
You changed a lot of our lives, though.
I appreciate it. We're still working at it. And
Yes.
my team, oh my goodness, the innovation team that I have now, because again, I'm still very involved with it, but I'm now doing this. I'm in the this seat. I'm in the CEO seat, and that comes with basically being everywhere at the same time.
Yes. So let's talk about being in the CEO seat,
part.
because I mean, you still have your personal life, family, and all of that. So what is something that you do to try to keep on top of all these things, or give yourself, whatever it is, give yourself a break while you're doing all this traveling? What is it?
I mean, there's so many things that I have to do with making sure that I'm maintaining some level of balance, because I do find myself in so many areas. I'm the one that's responsible for, if there's a need here and there's a structural problem here, I have to fill those gaps. I can't just let it not happen. You know, if there's a need for me in any department, I have to be ready. I have to be nimble, just like we are as a small company. I have to be prepared to be in these spaces. But I also have 3 children and a dog and a loving husband, and there's so many, they need me too. And so what I do is I make sure that I have tried to be more and more intentional about being present. So wherever that is. So when I say that I'm done with work, I am completely focused on my kids, on whether I'm hanging out with friends, or I'm reading a book or listening to music. Music always does help me. I have a playlist for every single, every moment of my life. I have a playlist for it.
I
do. It's like a soundtrack to everything I might do.
So brushing my teeth soundtrack.
That's the only one I may not have. I got a bubble bath one.
Nice.
So I have soundtrack to everything I do. But that also helps. It's calming and relaxing. But it's about presence. It's about presence, so that if I'm completely focused on my children at the time, and we're enjoying each other, or my husband and I are on a date night, be there and be done with work. Unless there's a fire that I've got to put out, be there. I'm very family focused, and having the balance and the and then I like to collect moments, and I like to write them down. I like to write down special moments that I have with my children, with my family. I did it when they were babies. I used to journal. I would write down during those quiet moments. I would write it down, and now I find myself doing that again. Funny things that they say, I'll write it down, because it's so fun to revisit that stuff and laugh.
Yes.
And to share with them, and they laugh. They're like, "Mom, I said that." Yep, you were 6 years old. We were sitting over there, and it's fun. And so I feel like collecting moments also helps me to just it's a departure for me from the workspace. But I guess the last thing I would say would be balancing, in terms of like my professional life, it was learning to balance my working in the business versus working on the business. That has helped me, because I saw my father really struggle with that, like always talking about, I don't have time to get out of the weeds. I'm always working in the business, and I think that it was just the way that he set it up. But for me, I had to tell myself, my dad built this from zero, and I'm taking it to the next level and beyond is where I'm shooting for. And so I don't want to, I may have to build it a little differently. So then I've assembled like a leadership team and worked on, getting an operating system in place for which we can, everybody can kind of be in alignment on, so that we work more efficiently, and just like we have processes and procedures that rule the day. That's a different way, and I think that also helps take me out of being involved in so many things. We have a clear process, clearly defined. Everyone knows where they're going. Everyone is going the same direction. Then it doesn't involve me having to be there, because unless there's something that's never happened, then of course I'm there. Like some of the situations that we have, some of the economic changes that may happen, then I need to be there for those things that are off the beaten path. But for the normal day-to-day stuff that are routine, there's a system for which we live by, and that also helps me to balance
yeah.
all of this.
Yeah,
It's like,
helps take some of that load off.
Yes.
Great insight, great information. Thank you so much for showing us how you make it happen and keeping us right all these years. Okay? All right, you guys, hold on to your bonnets. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with some summer hair help. Okay?